beautiful people. Let us start looking at that study guide for Unit 5. We're going to go ahead and go through the questions from your study guide and make sure you understand all of them and give you some tips and tricks along the way. I have the handy dandy Desmos calculator here to help me out, and then my marker and my questions, so I am good to go. All right, so let's look at the first real question, because obviously I don't need to fill out my name because you know what it is. So the first real question up here is, select all correct answers. Which of the following would be classified as an expression? All right, remember, an expression does not have an equal sign and it does not have an inequality sign. And something with an equal sign is called an equation. So equation. And obviously, with the inequality sign, we're called inequality. So an expression doesn't have a sign. So I'm looking down. Nope, that's an equation. Equation. 2 plus 4x. No equal sign, no inequality sign, but I do have an operation. That's an expression. 3x is an expression. 2 minus 8y is an expression. 3x plus 9 is less than 11. That's an inequality. So remember, an expression does not have an equal sign or an inequality sign. All right, moving right along. Let's do this thing. All right, so here for number 2, technically it says 4 though, that's annoying. All right, for our next question, it says, what is the value of x? So I have a key here for my model, right? This is a model of an equation. I have in the key that the red rectangle is x, the green square is 1. So I can write the number sentence that I see. Remember, if the two things from your key are mixed, that means addition. So this is x plus 4 equals, let's see how many are over here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 21 over there, 7 times 3, right? 3 rows of 7. So I can solve this mathematically just by using my one-step equation kind of process by subtracting 4 from each side, or I can use the model. If I take away 1, 2, 3, 4, so that the x is alone here, I would take away 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I just count my remainder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So x is 17. Makes sense, right? Because if I subtract 4 here, and I subtract 4 here, and I go over to my calculator, 21 minus 4, boom, 17. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, so let's look at this next one. It says, what is the value of k? So it says 45 equals 9 plus k. Let's get this a little bigger. 45 equals 9 plus k. All right, so I look at the side that's with the variable, and I look to see who the variable's hanging out with. That variable's hanging out with positive 9. Well, the opposite of positive 9 would be negative 9. So I subtract that negative 9 from right there on the right, and in my calculator, I do 45 minus 9, which gives me 36 equals, and then I drop that k down. So k is 36. I can check my answer by just using what we call variable substitution. So in my calculator, watch this, it's so cool. So if I do 9 plus k, right, and then I make a new line on my calculator, and I say k equals 36, boom, I get that answer 45, which is the answer I'm supposed to get, so I know that 36 is correct. So it's called variable substitution. It's pretty cool. It says, the next one, which of the following represents the variable in the number sentence 3x plus 5 equals 20? Let's write that bigger. 3x plus 5 equals 20. Well, the variable is the letter. That's the unknown thing that I'm solving for. So the variable, this is just a vocabulary word, is x. The variable is x. 3 is the coefficient. X is the variable. 3x, 5, and 20 are terms. So we have to know those vocabulary words. A variable, coefficient, terms. All right, here we go. Another equation one, another model. It says, if the scale is balanced, which number sentence below does it best represent? Remember, we're really only representing, or we really only model two types of equations. We usually just model addition or multiplication. Remember, when you're adding something, you're taking two different things and combining them. So on this kind of left-hand side of the balance scale, I have x plus those two dots. And those equal the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots on the right-hand side. So my equation is x plus 2 equals 7, right? If they're mixed, it's addition. If it's not mixed, if things are separated, like if you have like an x and then an x and then an x, like that's multiplication. I have 3x and then equals the circles equals 3, right? So if they're separated, that's multiplication. If they're mixed on one side, that's addition. Kind of cool when you think about it. All right, let's move on to inequalities. Perfection. The next one says, which inequality represents the statement, you must be past your 15th birthday to get a driver's permit in Virginia? You must be past your 15th birthday. So your age, we'll call that X. When you're past, it means it's greater than 15. So in order to get your driver's license, you have to be greater than 15 years old. So it would be this first one, X, the age is greater than 15 because it's past the birthday. So you have to be older than 15 to drive. X is less than 15 means like a baby could drive. That's not true. Babies can't drive. So X is greater than 15. All right, so let's look at that next one. It says using the equation 4x plus 3 equals 31, identify the coefficient. 4x plus 3 equals 31. Let's think of that word co. Co means with. So the coefficient is the number with the variable. Here's the variable x. The number with the variable is 4. So 4 is the coefficient. Ta-da! Brilliant. All right, number 10. I'm not really sure what number this is for you. I think it's 8. Who knows? The next one says, which of the following methods would you use to solve the equation 5x equals 25? Well, when I see a coefficient, the 5, next to the variable, the x, that means to multiply. So to solve, I would do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. So I would divide both sides by 5 to solve. Remember, you're always doing the inverse operation. Inverse operation. All right, for the next one, it says, which of the following inequality is represented in the image below? All right, so I have a closed circle at 8, and I'm going to the left. So if all these numbers represent the variable x, these numbers x, we're going to the left, right? Left is least, is less than 8. But I have a closed circle, so I make that line. Because that graphed inequality says that x is less than or equal to 8. So it's this one right here. I could also write it that if x is less than or equal to 8, 8 is greater than or equal to x. So I can write it both ways, and you might see it both ways in the future. All right, here we go. It says, which inequality represents the graph below? There are 2 correct answers. Well, that's nice that they told us there are 2. All right, so let's see. So I know, let's write the inequality. So these numbers, x, are going to the left, so we're less than, and then our graph starts at -1. So x is less than -1, and I don't say or equal to because it's an open circle. So I can write it x is less than -1, or I could say that -1 is greater than x. Because remember, if I flip the order, I flip the sign. So let's just see. We're looking for 2. This is less than or equal to, no. Equal to or less than, no. X is greater than or equal to, no. X is equal to or greater than, no. X is less than -1, yes. That's what our first one says. X is less than -1. X is greater than, no. -1 is greater than x. Yes, that's this one. -1 is greater than x. So it's just a translation. They're just writing it in words instead of with the inequality signs. Perfection. Remember though, if I flip the order, I flip the sign. All right, our next one says choose all, so there's more than one, of the numbers that are part of the answer set for the graph below. Okay, so let's write the inequality. That's the same one I had up here, that x, those numbers to the left, are less than or equal to 8. So I'm looking for numbers that are less than or equal to 8, which means 8 is a part of the solution set. So let's just go down. All right, 3 is less than 8. 8 is equal to 8, so that would work. -3 is less. 0 is less. 9 is more, 13 is more, 20 is more, so none of those would work. They would not be going to the left of that 8 while we include the 8. So those ones. Remember, if it's an open circle, we do not include the 8. If it's a closed circle, we do include the 8. All right, it says, which one-step inequality would match the graph below? Oh man, we're just going to have to look and see. So we know that, okay, so the x's are all on the left-hand side, and we know that the inequality is kind of going to the right, which means we're getting greater. So I'm not really going to consider these bottom two quite yet. I'm going to try process of elimination because those were saying less than, that the variable was going to be less than something, and it doesn't look like that's true. So I'm just going to try these two to figure out which one of these would give me that x is greater than 2. All right, so the first one says x plus 5 is greater than 7. All right, so I solve an inequality, or I find the solution set to an inequality just like an equation. I do the inverse operation. So the opposite of plus 5 is minus 5. I subtract, that goes away. I get x greater than 7 minus 5 is 2. X is greater than 2. Let's check the graph. We start at 2. We're getting bigger. This graph shows that those numbers are greater than 2. That one is x is greater than 2, which means it happens just to be the first one that we choose. X plus 5 is greater than 7. That would be the one-step inequality that matches that answer. All right, let's look at our next one. It says, which of the following is the algebraic form for the verbal statement shown? That's just fancy words of saying which of these number sentences matches this word sentence. It says the product of x and 9 is 27. All right, is 27, that's an easy one, means equals 27. Now let's look at the word product. Product means to multiply. So this really says 9 times x, or x times 9. But remember, if we're using multiplication with a variable, we write it with the coefficient, then the variable. 9x means 9 times x, or x times 9. So it's 9x product equals 27, right? Multiplication, the answer to a multiplication product, I can't do it. The answer to a multiplication problem is called the product. Woo, that was a tough one. All right, here we go. It says find the solution to the one-step equation 2x equals 14. 2x equals 14. Well, we just said if the coefficient is next to the variable, that's multiplication. So we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. We're going to divide by 2, divide by 2. In our calculator, we do 14 divided by 2 is 7, which means x equals 7. And that makes sense. 2 times 7 is 14. Easy peasy, right? Find the solution set to this one-step equation. X minus 8 equals 12. Okay, the opposite of minus 8 is plus 8. So I add 8, that goes away. X equals 20. 20 minus 8 is 12. All right, let's do the next one. It says find the answer to this one-step equation. So that's x over 5 equals 9. Remember, that fraction bar means division. So we have to figure out what number divided by 5 would give me 9. The opposite of division is multiply. So I'm just going to take these two numbers and I'm going to multiply them together. X stays on this side. The 5's coming over times 9, which is 45. And I could check in my calculator just to see if I'm right, if I'm curious. 45 divided by 5 is 9, so that's the right answer. Super easy peasy, right? Lemon squeezy. All right, we got a couple more. We got this. It says, write which of the inequalities below translates the situation. Due to COVID restrictions, no more than 7 customers are allowed in the store at a time. No more than 7, which means I'd have to be less than 7. But the question is, could I be 7? So if it's no more than 7, it means I could have 7 customers. So the customers in my store, X, have to be less than or equal to 7. I can't go more than 7, but I could have 7. So I leave that or equal to, right? So no more than 7, 7 or less. That would be that I included 7 in that inequality. All right, I think this is our last one. It is, yay. All right, here we go. Which of the following inequalities below translates the situation? The cafeteria is set up to keep the number of people eating breakfast to under 75 students. So the amount of people eating breakfast, X, has to be less than 75 students. It says under 75, so we're not going to include 75 in our solution set. We want to be under 75, so we can't be 75. So we do not add that or equal to line. All right, we made it. And if you made it to the end of this video, you're the real champion. Let me know if you have any questions. Just know that I love you. You can do this. Unit 5 test coming in hot. See you later.